Coffee. Coffee. Coffee with Craddock.
Well, cheers, Mike.
Cheers.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.
We've got our cups of coffee here, and it's just a moment. The weather's turned slightly outside, but we're rolling back the years, going over your time in the group. 11 years or so.
That's a decent chunk, isn't it?
It's a decent chunk. And of course, we were both there on day one, and it's been a real roller coaster, I know. But I mean, how do you feel having been part of that journey up to now?
It's a roller coaster I'd go on again. Absolutely. I mean, it's easy to start by thinking back to the beginning, but it has come an awful long way, hasn't it? I mean, absolutely. I didn't know you. Really.
No, we'd never met before the first rehearsal.
Yeah.
I was like, who is this guy?
Yeah, quite, absolutely. I was similar about you, to be fair. I mean, there was no grand plans, I would say, at the start. And I think one of the big joys for all of us has been the serendipity of a lot of things happening. Because you can't set out with specific ambitions to do anything in the music world, because everything will throw itself at you and you will have to adjust. And I think that the sort of 6 people who've been there on the way at any given time have been very good at adjusting. And I think that's super fun, because you can do plenty of work in the world where the instinct is always, oh, but why would we want to do that? That sounds like it's going to be a bit of a faff. And at very few moments did I feel that was the prevailing wind. Yeah. And that's good, I think, you know.
Absolutely. There's been all sorts of moments along the way. I mean, and I think those of us that have been around a long time, and also the people that have joined in the last few months, you know, they've all contributed something to the group and the sort of vibe of how we do things and how the group goes about things. I mean, it's hard to talk about yourself, I know, but what would you say your contribution has been to that in terms of what you've given to the group over that long period of time?
Well, I think, again, it's 11 years is a long time. If you view any of these, if you saw that stretch of time at the beginning, you know, stretching out in front of you, you wouldn't have any ability to visualise or plan or things like that. Yeah. It's like, you know, one of those races, you've got to just put little milestones and little posts. And I think we all grew together. Yeah. I don't think, you know, any one of us at the start would have been like, oh, I'm the person who brings this, you're the person who brings this. It was just, we'd do concert to concert and see where we went. I mean, you know, how old was I when we started? 21, 22, maybe?
Just starting out.
Yeah, and 11 years previous to that, I hadn't sung a note.
Well, of course, I've known Mike for about 16 years now. We met in Cambridge in the same choir together and very quickly became firm friends. I remember one evening where I may have accidentally thrown him over a wall, and a particularly fun party. I'm sure he'll remember that as well. And I think at that point, if you'd asked us what we sort of wanted to do post-graduation, we would have said, I have absolutely no idea. But I think if you'd then given us some time to think, we would have said if we could be carrying on touring together as we did at university with a group of our friends, being able to go around the world and share what we'd learnt in that group, that we would have said that. So that's been an amazing journey.
I think we all sort of, through the rehearsal process for the group, I mean, obviously, Owen is the director, and in the very early days, he was conducting concerts. Yeah. But there was still, even then, a sort of spirit of collaboration.
Yeah, definitely.
And we were all sort of learning best how to communicate our thoughts about the music that we were doing. And, you know, I think we've all got better at that, for sure.
Yeah, and I think actually something which was quite positive early on is that we weren't really trying to be anyone else, I think. I don't think there was much of a culture of that. Yeah. I think that you have a lot of groups who start with the best intentions in the world of being like, we really like what this group do. And obviously we were 6 men singing, so the King Singers looms large over that. But I think quite early on we were trying to do quite different things and also sound like us.
Yeah, absolutely. It was with the KS when they started in the 60s, it was very much based around their lineup. And similarly for us, the repertoire has grown around our specific voices. Right up to the pieces that we've had commissioned for us to sing.
Absolutely.
Which always feels the most special, I think, to
Yeah.
me.
I was singing with Mike, really he was my partner in crime for my entire time in the group, as a fellow bass, of a slightly higher variety, of course. And what can I say? He's the perfect colleague. He is incredibly supportive. He's so enthusiastic about not just about singing, but all sorts of things, cricket. So I've been able to learn a huge amount from him in both those things and many other things, because of course he is a fountain of random knowledge, you might say, as well. But yeah, I wish him all the best in his future career. He's a fantastic singer, and I'm sure he'll go very, very far indeed.
In terms of the touring life and what we've now grown into, which is a touring ensemble that kind of goes around the world travelling, I know that you've really enjoyed that part of the job. I mean, what will you miss about it?
I will miss all of the positive parts about being small and agile. So I will miss being 6 people who fit in a car and go around, and when things go wrong, you're just, instead of being like, you manager, please help, and just being like, we got to fix this, haven't we? Like, that's great, because you have some of the more memorable experiences come when
exactly.
things are thrown at you. And I think I really enjoy the other facets of a freelance musician's life, but you do feel like a small cog in a large machine, whether it's doing stage work or doing big orchestral tours or things like that. You feel like you have to very much fit, rather than sort of us charging about America, kind of making America fit to us, which is, I think, always an enjoyable experience.
I think there's a greater agency, isn't there, on all of us to kind of think, oh, how can we do that better?
Yeah,
and,
quite.
What happens now?
Well, and also you get to be like, that day was a pain in the arse, so let's make sure that doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
And that's fun,
Exactly.
Not that there were too many pain in the arse days.
No, not at all. All works, to clockwork every time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the favourite thing I have about Mike was actually before G6, where we met doing another concert, and I'd sat on the bus not knowing anyone in the choir, and he sat down next to me, and I was thinking, okay, who's this person? And for the next 2 hours, he kind of just talked incessantly. But it was so nice to have someone who kind of straight away you can be so friendly with, and that is kind of the joy of being with Mike on tour every day.
I mean, lots of places that we've been, lots of venues that we've performed in.
Yeah.
Which stand out for you? I mean, I can think of a few, but...
Obviously, I think the ones where we've gone the furthest have been the most extraordinary. I think that month we spent in Australia and New Zealand was quite something.
Yeah.
With good venues as well. And just fun people. I thought that was the great thing about Australia, was that even though it is a massive expanse, you felt the music world was lovely and small. And everywhere we went, you'd be like, oh, I've met this person before, that's nice. Yeah. And you'd always catch up, and there'd be so much good singing going on, and then we'd go and do a lovely concert in a top venue. That time in Sydney we had when we were, quite a slow schedule as well, and got a chance to enjoy ourselves. Go to the bar by the Sydney Opera House, literally looking out over the harbour. Did that concert in the tiny room of the Sydney Opera House with
the back room,
with the drinks, the ice which they've been using to cool the pre-concert drinks, slowly defrosting through William Byrd.
Oh yes, with the cracks. Yes, I'd forgot about that.
It was extraordinary, because I wasn't singing interested, so I just sat next to it, and every so often it would just, be a particularly beautiful plangent chord, and then and someone would knock over a glass or something. It felt a bit like a comedy set.
Yeah, and the thing about travelling around doing what we do is that the audiences, seemingly, even if we're in Australia or Colombia or Japan, they're all well up for it, and they're so keen to hear it, and it's so lovely to meet so many different people across the world, isn't it?
Yeah, and the sort of weird shift from everyone being like, no idea who these guys are, but all right.
Yeah, exactly.
And just turning up, which, to be fair, in Colombia was entirely the vibe.
For sure.
Which was a bit of a blast from the past. But actually, you get to the stage where you have things called fans, which I never imagined that I would be in any kind of career where people I'd never met cared about what I did. And that's an amazing feeling, because like there are many people for whom I care about what they do. I am fans of lots of things, but the sort of ecosystem of that, being involved in that, was something I never imagined.
And people recognise you even though you've not met them, because
Yes.
you've seen us
quite.
on their phones,
Quite.
which I think, you know, famous people talk about as being quite weird, but also I sort of get it because I also follow other famous people and I see them. Yeah, it's a strange thing. But
Well, and
really wonderful.
you know, I have a few friends from uni who are like successful actors and stuff like that. And I go like, wow, that's so cool that you do that thing. And you don't think of yourself as doing anything remotely like that, but it is sort of closer than some people might realise.
Yeah, exactly.
He asked him to put out a little from the land, and he sat down and taught the people from the words.
There's been all sorts of programmes that we've done, all sorts of pieces that we've sort of developed over a great number of years. And a few have been performed more than others. I think we've done many English motets.
Yeah, quite.
And Fading.
You surely have these stats. Like what's our most performed programme?
I should have prepared. I think it's probably Fading.
Let's just say Fading.
I've got a thumbs up from the tech team, so that's good.
Thanks, tech team.
Thanks for the dictionary in the corner.
Yes.
What's been your favourite programme to perform?
That's a very good question. I really like Looks at Turner. I think as a programme, I think I have pieces in other programmes which I prefer, but as an event evening, I think it's more, you know, I think I derive a lot of my enjoyment of things out of how audiences react to stuff. I find it very difficult to make music in a vacuum, and they really get on with it. Yeah. And actually, I think people get a lot out of it in an emotional way, which is very moving.
It's a universal thing, you know, we all come across grief at some point in our lives, don't we? So it's a programme that focuses on that, and sort of, you know, from all sorts of angles, including the more sort of hopeful acknowledgement of grief and the hope for, you know, everlasting life and things like that. So it's a really special one, I agree. The other one for me is Secret Bird.
Yeah.
From an audience reaction perspective.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
So you mentioned that you had other pieces that weren't in Lux Turner that you liked.
Yeah, I like loads of pieces.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of the 7-part pieces, which I miss from the glory days. You know, Suche Quasi Domino is a great piece.
Yeah, absolutely.
Libera Nos, 1 and 2, great pieces. It's just magic.
English Motets.
English Motets,
First disc, 2017.
That was fun.
Yeah. 11 discs I think you'll be on, eventually.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of discs.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's concentrated, you know, because we spent how many years before recording a CD?
Well, 2017 we recorded English Motets.
So
it was released the year after that, and we started in 2014. So.
Yeah, so 3 years of just making content for our own enjoyment before releasing it to the world.
One of the things I think we're all going to miss about Mike is his stage presence, and particularly his attention to text delivery is something that I think that the group has really taken to heart over the 11 years of Mike's time singing with us. But more than that, it's just those moments on stage where, in my case, I would look over to my left and I would see Mike invariably smiling and giving a cheeky grin at any moment, whether it be happy or sad in the music, to be honest. And that is sort of the benefits of that are really untold. It just relaxes you on stage and makes everything better. Moving on to sort of your favourite moments. Now, I'm sure that there are some that you may not want to share publicly.
I don't know what you're referring to.
I have no idea what I'm saying. But any that you feel that you could share, please do.
I mean, so much of it overlaps with favourite touring experiences because so many of our moments have been when we've been away from home. But I think Japan was amazing. Just as a very different but very delightful place to be. And Agawa-san, our promoter, was a legend.
He was indeed.
Still is a legend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lovely man.
Yeah.
And just treating us so well and taking us to lots of lovely restaurants where we had lots of lovely beef and sushi and things. I mean, that was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was lovely. It was really nice to be taken around by the same person to all the places that we had to go to in that country.
Yeah.
It was a really lovely experience.
Yeah.
I agree.
I soon discovered after joining the group that Mike has a beautiful yes and attitude. It doesn't matter if it's a day at the cricket or after a particularly stressful rehearsal, Mike is always there, toothy grinned, ready to have a fabulous time and always got a plan to know how to go one better. I can't tell you how valuable that is. Halfway through a tour, when spirits might be a bit low or you're a bit tired, Mike is there with this just ray of positivity. It's totally invaluable. I'll miss his improbable facts about the world, his access to corners of the internet which only seemingly he knows how to find. And I'll miss that lovely smile as we're walking off stage, going down the centre aisle, seeing you there, Mikey. I'm going to miss you.
So how about your future plans? I mean, here we are in a few months after the official end, although there are a couple of concerts here and there that you're doing for us very kindly.
I'm here right now.
So I suppose the future plans really now are the present plans.
Yeah.
What's happening?
I mean, I am sort of plotting, I'd say. Things go in cycles with freelance stuff, and I want to do more stage work, but all of that kind of requires auditions. Auditions are fun, quite scary if you haven't done an audition in a while. I think that's another thing actors say, because if you end up in a regular thing, the work is there, and you suddenly are like, when you feel like a student again, when you suddenly turn up and you're like, okay, I'll sing an aria now. So that's fun.
Yeah.
And actually taking the voice and seeing what the voice wants to do is a very different experience from spending time with another 5 singers, and making concerts work is an extraordinary thing. It's very different, and it's really exciting. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, good.
We've had some amazing times over the last 11 years with Mike. We're really going to miss him, not just for me, for the fact that he used to reply to emails almost instantly and was a totally consummate professional, but also because in rehearsals and in discussions he was the warm voice of neutrality. He wouldn't take sides. He would always present his point of view very calmly. People would always listen to what he had to say because of the way in which he said it, and that presence will be missed. And I know that we'll continue to talk to him and ask him what to do in the future, because he was so incredibly wise, and we're going to miss him.
So it's our CD launch today, and we might be having a little bit of fun afterwards.
Great. Well, I mean, any final thoughts?
I think one should never have final thoughts.
No, that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because then that would be it, wouldn't it? Fair
yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm clocking off from this chat, but you'll see plenty more of me, and I'll see plenty more of you, Joseph. So that's nice.
Hope so, mate.
I'll be coming to the concerts.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Pleasure.